Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. We've got a little bit more Seahawks stuff to go over. Last night we had a great stream. A lot of people showed up. We had a lot of fun. Went an hour and a half. Most of the off-season streams have been an hour, so that's a pretty good indication that interest is picking up. People are starting to pay attention. People are starting to get back into the swing of things. So we're working towards mid-season form on that front. So thank you everybody for a great stream last night. And we talked about some stuff about camp, but let's go ahead and summarize it here in the video, in the morning video. Before we get into anything that actually happened at training camp, though, the headline has to be this. Pete Carroll tested positive for COVID, and he's going to be not partaking in training camp for, I would assume, at least this week. So obviously, it's unfortunate for everyone involved. It's unfortunate for him, unfortunate for the team. Unfortunate all around. At this stage, you would certainly hope that it's one of these COVID strains that is maybe more contagious, but also less deadly. So we gotta sweat this one out a little bit, I guess. I understand that he is quite old, but I, I'm not terribly worried about anything disastrous happening here. I think he'll be all right, and I think that we'll be seeing him again sooner rather than later. But it's something to monitor for sure. And if you really look into the back of your head right now, the possibility of this thing spiraling is probably back there somewhere, right? Okay, so that's the headline right now, and like I said, it's bad for him, it's bad for the team, it's bad all around. All right, now as for what happened on the field, I can sum it up pretty quickly. The offense was pretty bad. The defense, however, was really good. And when you think about it, it's kind of always going to be like a scale, right? It's going to be like a balancing act. However good your offense does, your defense will therefore look bad, and vice versa. So I guess you have to assume that if one side of the football looks really good and is encouraging you, it's probably the case that the other side is going to be going the other way. However, one thing I do want to point out before I dig into this a little bit is that I think it's pretty common for offenses to not look good at the start of training camp because offenses tend to be a little behind the defense. So it's not surprising that the offense is having problems right now. But the damage is, well, Geno Smith did not look good at all. During the red zone portion of the scrimmage, Geno went 0 for 4. Homer did drop a pass. He spiked a pass into the ground in the 1v1s. And yeah, there were some people who went to the training camp in the stream last night. They were talking about it. The offense just didn't look good. And the most notable thing offensively might be the fact that Drew Lock, even though he didn't play great, was noticeably better. Drew Lock outplayed Geno Smith for the first time this training camp, and while I still think that Geno's ahead, and I don't know if there's enough time for Drew Lock to make it up, it's encouraging to know we might have a real QB battle. Geno's not going to win it by default. Geno's not going to get handed the job. Drew Lock has an opportunity here. He went 2 for 4. Now, he did have 2 offensive false starts on his hard counts. I don't really know if you can put that on him. There were no touchdowns from the offense in 10 tries from inside the 10-yard line. So that's never good. That's always a concern. Drew Lock did throw a couple of touchdowns in, I believe, the 7-on-7s to Will Dissly, and Geno didn't have any. So all around, you would say that Lock played better. Is it going to be enough for him to take over the position? Not yet. We got a long way to go. And regardless of what the team may say, it feels like Geno Smith has a sizable lead in the battle because he's been there a couple years. He was in Waldron's offense last year and played okay. And it just seems like there's a desire to at least have him for the start of the year. That's what I'm feeling right now. Now, on the other side of this, you can say the defense. The excuse me. Wow, the defense looked good. The play of the day was Nwosu coming up with an interception of Geno. Now, Nwosu's obviously a pass rusher, but even the most prolific pass rushers occasionally drop back into coverage. So we should certainly expect that to be part of the offense. I know we're trying to get away from having our pass rushers not play in space, or excuse me, playing in space, but it's going to happen sometimes. And it would be nice if, unlike last year, we were able to turn that into a positive on occasion. So Nwosu had a good pick. Another thing that I really want to draw attention to would be Cody Barton. It seems like Cody Barton's playing very well in coverage so far. I read some stuff from assorted sources that Barton made several plays in coverage, including one where he dropped into coverage on Travis Homer on a play where Homer was initially blocking and then went out into a route. Barton was able to quickly correct himself and get out to deflect a pass against Homer. So that stuff is great because that's the stuff that really got away from Wagner in recent years. And if Barton can bring that, we have something different at least. Other than that, I think that's just the theme from yesterday. The offense didn't get a whole lot going in the pass game in the team drills. I know Noah Fant had an opportunity to make a big play over the middle, and it got away from him. I think he dropped it, in fact. I think it was just a flat drop. So we don't like hearing that. Fant is a guy who has dropped, I don't want to say a ton of passes, but some passes so far in his career. And other than that, I don't think there's a whole lot to report. Jamal was back. That's good to see, right? This is an important time for Jamal. And having him back after just a couple of days, even though he's wearing that little cast on his finger, it's a bit of a relief. And Eskridge still not doing stuff on the field, although he was seen on the field. So presumably he's working his way back, but we're not there yet. And he's another guy who, like Jamal, people are just kind of like staring at them, waiting for something special to happen. Like, why did you make this trade? Why did you make this pick? People still look at Jamal Adams and they see 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick. People still look at Dwayne Eskridge and they see Creed Humphrey. And I get it, but I also want those guys to do something to get people to not think about that as much and think about the fact that, hey, we have this. I would have maybe preferred to have this other thing, but I can see where this thing is actually helping us. So obviously, I'm rooting for them both. Not a whole lot else to really talk about from training camp yesterday. Just a general not good day from the offense. Today is the first day with pads. I know that. So that's going to be very interesting, especially for the running game. The running game in the early part of training camp, I think I talked about this yesterday. Hard to really judge anything because defenses just kind of let it happen. Pretty much every play, the running back breaks into open field and the defense just stops running because they're not tackling. But as they put pads on and eventually start to actually hit each other, you can get an idea. So that's about it. We signed a defensive tackle who I believe played for Florida, but I didn't see any reason to believe that he's anything more than a camp body. And yeah, the offense has some work to do. So if you are in the Drew Lock camp, like I kind of am, I don't think it's a big deal, but I would prefer to see Drew Lock over Geno. Then it was a good day. But if you were anybody else on offense, it was pretty much a bad day. All right, let me know what you guys think down below. Go Hawks, and hopefully we see something a little more encouraging from the offense today.